Good morning, students. Today we'll be moving to the second video of government budget and economy. In the first video, we had already understood about what is government budget. It's basically the financial performance of the government in the past 1 year and about the financial programs and policies of the government for the next 1 year. Under the government budget, there are various objectives which we had seen in the first video, where it is basically about GDP growth, allocation of resources, provision of public goods, redistribution of income and wealth, balance regional growth, employment opportunities, and economic stability. This I had explained you in the first part of government budget and economy. Today we are moving to the second part of the chapter, which talks about the structure of the budget, or we can also call it as component of the budget, in which there are two basic parts of budget. One is called budget receipt and another one is called budget expenditure. In budget receipt, we have two types of receipts. One is revenue receipt and another one is called capital receipt. In this video, we will be trying to concentrate on one part of the receipt, which is called as revenue receipt. Revenue receipt basically have two major characteristics. The first one is these receipts do not create any liability for the government. For example, it's a tax receipt in which government does not has to do any corresponding liability when they receive this money. It's a unilateral, one-sided payment by the people, by the entrepreneurs to the government. And these receipts also do not cause any reduction in assets of the government. The government do not sell the assets. When they do that, it is called as capital receipt. So basically there is a difference between a revenue receipt and capital receipt. So revenue receipt is basically all the money received which do not create any liability for the government, as well as do not lead to reduction in assets of the government. So here we go about the budget receipt, which are divided into two parts: revenue receipt and capital receipt. So further, when we try to understand about the constituents of revenue receipt, it has been divided into two parts. One is tax receipt and another one is called non-tax receipt. Let us try to understand the points which come under tax receipt. The first one is called income tax, and we all know very well that this tax has been collected by the government from the people or from the entrepreneurs. And then we have corporation tax, excise duty, gift tax, custom duty when the goods move from one place to another, one country to another. Excise duty is also collected on the goods, especially on liquor. The excise duty has been collected, and government earns a big revenue from excise duty. Then we have, earlier we had a tax called VAT, value added tax. Today we call the same tax as goods and service tax, GST, which has been revamped, which has been changed, and anything what we purchase or get service is been taxed, and that tax is collected by the government. Now there are certain receipts by the government which does not come under tax receipt. They are called as non-tax receipt. For example, the first one has been given here as fees. Like for example, A fee is a payment to the government for the service that is rendered to the people, like land registration fees, birth and death registration fees, passport fees, court fees, all comes under this category, which is called as fees under non-tax receipt. Then we come under fines, and the fines are those payments which are made by the law breakers to the government. Like a example, when we are moving with a vehicle and we break the traffic rules or traffic laws, then we are being fined. The same way, there are other areas where the people are fined, and from that the government earns certain revenue. Then there is another term which is called as escheat. Escheat refers to that income or state which arises of the property left by people without a legal heir. Means there is no claimant of such property. There is a property in the country, but no one is able to claim that, and the government makes revenue out of it by selling it or passing a tender out of it. Then we have special assessment, and under special assessment is that payment which is made by owners of those properties whose value has been appreciated due to development activities of the government. For example, in Ratlam, if you say that there are certain colonies which are undeveloped colonies, and at that time the people did not have to pay a big tax, road tax and house tax, because that is undeveloped colony. But the same colony, when it gets developed, where roads are being built or certain areas with the colonies come under developed areas, or medical college comes in that area, so the value of that colony is appreciated, becomes high, and in that case they have to pay certain amount to the government. That comes under special assessment. Then we have income from public entrepreneurs. Several entrepreneurs are owned by government, like railways, Indian Oil, Bhilai Steel Plant, and the profit from this organization is also a kind of revenue to the government. Then we have income from the sale of spectrum like 2G and 3G. The meaning is that there are certain government controls on certain areas, like for example, if you take about the mines, coal mines in India, so government sell those tender of taking coal from the mines, and the revenue what they get from that is considered as income from sale of a spectrum. It could be oil, it could be some network like 2G and 3G and so on. Last is the grants that what the government gets as a source of revenue. It's a very common for people to offer donation and grants to the government at the time of natural calamity like COVID-19, what we had seen like earthquake, floods and famines, and those grants also become a source of revenue to the government under non-tax receipt. So now we have understood clearly the difference between tax and non-tax receipt. Now let us understand the types of taxes. The first one is progressive and regressive tax. Progressive tax is a tax said to be progressive when the rate of tax increases with increase in income. More tax to richer people. Regressive tax is a tax which is said to be when it causes a greater real burden on the poor than the rich, because it is the same tax collected from, or same percentage of tax collected from the rich as well as poor. Examples are given on page number 296, and you can even refer page number 295 to get the constituents of revenue receipts. So one is progressive tax and one is regressive tax. Then we have value added tax, which I already told you, which has been changed, which was taken on the value addition of the product. Now it has been called as goods and service tax. The next one is specific tax, when a tax is levied on a commodity on the basis of its unit, size or weight, it is called as specific tax. And then we have the last tax, which is called as direct and indirect tax. A direct tax, as I told you already, that we have considered as income tax, is directly collected from that person who's earning that income. So that becomes as a direct tax. A tax in which the final burden of which is borne by the person on whom it is imposed, and that is an example, income tax. Whereas indirect tax is a tax in which whose initial burden of impact is on one person, but he succeeds in shifting the burden to another person. That is GST is an important example. It's levied on producer, but it is been charged from the people who are consuming the goods and services. So the burden is passed on to the consumer as well, is paid by the producer. So that becomes an indirect tax. Today, in this video, we had seen about the different types of taxes and the receipts. Some are tax receipts, some are non-tax receipt. So students, please refer to this part of the chapter which is called as budget receipt, and please try to clear all your concept regarding taxes and non-tax receipt. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.